this is Ruby. Welcome to our video. Today we're going to be showing you how to make Fimo things. You can use Fimo or other polymer clays that you can bake in the oven. You can make badges, earrings or things to play with. Here are some of the things we've just been making. I made a little mug for my doll's house. These haven't been baked yet, but my brothers have been making Lego helmets.
This is going to be a badge, so I'm going to glue onto the back these badge bags once they've been cooked. You can also
Make earrings.
And if you want to, you can put these metal spikes through whilst they bake in the oven because it's metal, so that's fine. And you can also use gems. They're fine in the oven. So they're like glass, aren't they?
Yes.
And then be careful they don't stick together.
Because if they stick together whilst they're in the oven, they will bake together and you won't be able to get them off without breaking them.
And this is going to be a Christmas tree badge. This is a penguin badge.
And
We've got a pizza for the doll's house.
Yes. And I made my mummy a little dolly for her pizza and her cake. And I've got my own dollies to put my pizza and my pizza and my cake in.
And there's a Christmas tree.
I did a Christmas tree too.
Zoom in on this piece of pizza. There you are. It's a slice of pizza. It's tiny.
And you can put it like that, like this. And then you can take it out like you just chopped it in a dolly's house. Lucky Dolly, she has the food all to herself.
First of all, I'm going to make a little penguin because they're really easy. Always start by rolling your polymer modelling clay till it's soft. I always start myself by rolling a little ball. Sometimes it's very crumbly and it's hard to work with when it's crumbly. Look, you can see.
Like
so you need to
this.
warm it up. So I've made a ball. And it's going to make the shape more penguin-y.
You can also make multicoloured Fimo like this.
Oh yeah, you can make beads like that. We'll show you that one later.
And I made some earrings.
So now I'm going to make its wings. I'll choose a different colour. This time I'm going to choose, actually I'm going to use blue. And it's a good tip to always wash your hands in between changing colours because otherwise you can change the pink to a kind of skanky bluey looking colour.
Or sometimes it can turn black.
So I'm going to roll this sausage shape.
And you have different choices for eyes
Use a
and
nice
stuff.
sharp knife. So I'm going to cut these here. You can always glue on googly eyes after it's baked. I'm just going to make these little wing shapes here and stick them on the side of my penguin. This could be a little toy. Or you can make them into earrings like I did with some smaller ones, but bear in mind if you make them too heavy you won't be able to wear them.
And it will very hurt your ears.
There we go. There's the penguin so far. Now I'm going to choose a bit of yellow. We're running out of colour in here. I've actually ordered some new Fimo, which should arrive in the post anytime soon. So I'm using scraps. Scraps that I've saved in a box. I'm going to roll a tiny bit here, which I'm going to make a beak. So I'm going to cut the small bit here and mould it into a kind of triangle shape. It's hard to sort of zoom in, but I'm making a point there. It's not very pointy, is it? You could even stick a triangle on. I wanted it to stick out a bit there. See? Then we need a bit of white. There's hardly any white left in my scraps. Got any white there, Ruby?
I've got a little teeny weeny bit, which is kind of pinky and orangey.
I found some. It's joined to a bit of pink. So I only need a tiny bit because I'm going to make some eyes. This is one really you should wash your hands because you can end up with grey looking white. So I've rolled the little sausage, and I'm going to snip 2 pieces off of even sizes. 1, 2, and pick them up with the end of my knife. Roll them into a ball and stick them on my penguin. It's a very basic cartoonified penguin, but it's cute. You can kind of pick things up with the end of your knife. If you want to roll the Fimo, and you don't have anything to roll with, I use a rounded pen. It's like a children's marker pen. It's great for rolling. So far, that's my penguin. And when it's finished, you can either use a tiny bit of black Fimo to do the eyeballs, or you could do a Sharpie once it's been cooked in the oven. I tend to cook mine in the oven on about 180 degrees for about, check it after 15 minutes, and then if it still looks like it's a bit soft, it is always a bit soft when you get it out, and then it kind of hardens up. So maybe 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. I usually go about 180 degrees. But it depends how big whatever it is you're making is. You see, I'm making something really small, so check it after 15 minutes. But if you make something with a big chunk of Fimo like this, big fat thing, you're going to need longer. But if you put this in for a long time, it might burn and go black. It's my little penguin so far. How's that? And he needs some feet, doesn't he, Rubes?
Yes. You can also make bigger toys like I kind of did.
What did
I
you
made a little mousy.
Has that one been baked already?
Yeah.
Can you get some of the other things you've been baked?
I baked... Where have they gone? I also baked these.
Oh yeah, so that's a badge.
I made a traffic cone.
She made that for a teacher and a traffic cone. So you can make whatever you want, really. It's just a fun thing to do for all ages and all abilities, and it's really good for your dexterity and your fingers. So if you're helping somebody with special needs to use their hands, this is quite a fun way to do it.
And if they ever break, just get more Fimo and stick it back on.
So now my little penguin's got some feet.
See, my one's more, well, it's...
Oh, that's cute, Ruth.
It's fixed now because the tail fell off my mouse.
I kind of squished my one's head. It's hard to do it without making a squishy bit. So there we go, there's my penguin. It's just for fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But if you made a smaller one, because that would be way too heavy...
You could make it into earrings.
You could make it into an earring. So you'd get some of these pins. I've got a packet of these pins. There for earring making. This one's a bit bent. I'm not going to do it with this one. But you'd have to poke him up the bottom, basically, and sort of like spin it until it goes all the way through without squashing your Fimo. And then once it's cooked, you bend the end round with some tweezers to a little hoop, and then you can hook it onto your earrings. Next, I'm going to try and make a little piggy.
And I'm going to try to make something too.
So I'm going to roll it again. We'll start off by rolling it because this is really crumbly because it's dry. See? So you just roll it to warm it up.
You can also make elephants.
Yeah, you can make elephants or anything really.
Anything you want. And sometimes you can just get these little shapes. They can come in any kind of shape.
Oh yeah, tiny little cookie cutters. I bought these, they're specifically for modelling clay. There's quite a few different shapes I bought. So anyway, I always start with the ball, like I said, and then I roll it into a sausage often and then cut the sizes that I want with a very sharp little knife. So I'm going to cut the head here and the body here, and then I'm going to cut the legs.
The thing is, it doesn't have to exactly look like an elephant. It can be those little cartoons that just have heads and little legs and arms on them.
So here's the legs. I just thought I'd do that, and then they all end up rolled into balls and shaped into legs. So here's the body, which I'm going to make round. What are we going to do with these?
My elephant head is round, and it's going to have a trunk and some legs and arms. It's going to be like an elephant person. Because in some films, there's elephant people.
Is there?
Yeah,
Like
sometimes.
cartoons?
Like in Bing, they have a Bing which is a bunny and a panda, and they're people.
Now I'm making the legs, so I always start with the ball and then roll the sausage shape. And I've tried to cut 4 pieces of about the same size. These are really simple things you can make. I'm sure you'll have better ideas. You can make brooches with flowers on. You can make roses by flattening little circles and joining them together into petal shapes. So here's my piggy so far. I'm going to put his little legs on now. It's going to be very cartoonified.
Legs on. My one's going to be cartoon too because it has legs and arms like a person.
What else does my pig need? If it's got legs and it's got a body?
It needs a tail and a face.
Yeah, I think that leg's too big. Cut some off. What else do they have to hear with?
They have ears.
So there's Piggy so far.
Well, how does he snort without no nose?
That's a good point. Let's make him a nose. So start with the ball, always. Slightly flatten it. And then put his little nose on. Now I need to make him some ears, I think.
My elephant can fly.
Wow.
With his ears.
It's just really fun making these things, especially if you've got little children homeschooling at the moment. It's just
like
fun.
Me.
And you can get some fairly cheap ones off eBay. I just bought the polymer ones as opposed to the actual brand names. But the brand names are brilliant too. So I bought a pack of 32. And that's coming in the post soon, Ruby.
Woo!
And it's got a book with it to tell you about how to make things and what shapes you could try.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do here is make an ear shape, and it's proving fiddly.
Are these the diamonds?
Sort of.
Can they go on him or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's an ear.
There's my elephant. Done.
Wow.
So he's an actual person, basically,
So
see?
if you're going to use gems like that, look, which Ruby has done, I think she's actually used beads, but they are glass, so it should be alright.
Yeah.
You need to press them in.
And maybe, if you make it thin enough, you might be able to put some little beads on it.
Or you could glue them on at the end, but I'm going to press these in a bit. Now I'm going to make some ear shapes. The Fimo is becoming quite soft, which is good in some ways, but when you're trying to do something small, it's not very helpful. So I'm going to make flat round shapes, and then I'm going to pinch them into a kind of, I don't know if you can focus on that. Oh, let's hope for the best in a moment. That's one ear. So I've got my little, squash it a bit there.
I made a little raindrop.
Wow, that's good.
Now, what do I
It's fun to see what kids think of to make. I wouldn't think of some of the things that they think of. Just wouldn't even cross my mind to make what they think of. The boys have been making Minecraft Lego heads for their Lego men.
They would make villagers with real Lego bodies, and they would make their heads out of Fimo and the arms out of Fimo. And they would have to draw with Sharpies.
So what I'm doing now is I'm squeezing the ears on with the end of those pins to make the right shape. See? It's a piggy. So I just need to make his tail now, Rube.
Okay.
You could make a pig in any colour. It doesn't have to be pink, does it?
Nah.
So I've made my long sausage here. And I'm going to use my sharp knife to cut some tail shape. Stick it on his bottom, scrape it in a bit like you would with clay so that it actually sticks. Just kind of attach it like that very gently. And I'm going to give him a curly tail.
It's good to give them curly tails, isn't it? Because then it looks more like a pig.
Yeah, look at that, he's got a curly tail.
It's hard making curly tails though, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm going to draw his eyes on once he's cooked, but I will make the nose holes. So I'm going to get a pin again and poke the nose holes. You could use the end of a pen. See? There, I think he's okay. Should I put white eyes on? Yeah, why not? I've got a tiny bit of white left, so let's make some eyes.
And look what I just made. You can get a safety pin and put some beads on it.
Well done, Ruby.
It's an easy idea. It looks hard.
Oh, yeah.
Choose some of your favourite beads.
I don't think those eyes match.
To a safety pin.
Takes a bit of patience, and actually I should put my glasses back on properly.
There.
They were just on my head. That's
I've
not very
added
helpful.
a little orange.
There's the eyes. And you could either use a Sharpie to draw the dots at the end or find a dark colour for the pupils. I'm going to use a bit
Oh,
of blue.
Mummy, look what I just found. That's probably for a long earring, isn't it?
Yeah, that is an earring back, Ruby. She's in my box of beads.
Yeah, because it's fun making things out of beads,
Yeah,
isn't
but you've
it?
got to think, you can't cook plastic things in the oven.
Yes, but I mean like without plastic on it.
Mhm.
That's kind of easier.
One eyeball, Ruby.
An eyeball. You need an eyeball.
So we can see where he's going.
Yeah.
So you could make even smaller ones and you could make them into earrings. But I've made Mr. Penguin and Mr. Piggy.
And Mr. Penguin's friends.
And if you feel like it, you could even do the hoof shape on each foot leg. See? Now he's got hooves. Sorry about the focusing, since I've turned my phone round. One more thing I'll show you, which is really fun. Ruby, you could watch this because you don't know this one yet.
Don't I?
Is I'm going to make a multicoloured bead. So let's choose 2 colours. First of all, I'm going to choose this blue here.
And I can also just
I'm going to
show
roll it into the ball like I always do and roll a long sausage. Fairly long, like this.
Look what I made.
Very nice, Ruby.
A little hook.
It's beautiful. She's playing with beads. Should we show them my bead box?
Yes.
I've had this for years.
It's so easy to
Look at
just
that.
make them.
I think I had this since I got married. This is the bead box that Ruby's playing with. I bought crystals a long time ago when I got married and I made my own tiara. And there's still lots of things when I used to make jewellery. And there's some of my Fimo beads actually in there. That's what I'm going to show you how to make. Multicoloured beads. So I've got my blue sausage and I'm going to choose another colour. I think we'll go for pink. This kind of pink. So roll the ball like I always do.
Rolling.
It's still crumbly. Can you see? If you don't warm it up, it just crumbles in your hand. And that's no good. You just made that room.
Yep. They're quite easy to make.
So there's nice and warm now. I'll roll it into a long sausage to match the blue. You could use 2 or 3 colours. I'm just going to use, well, maybe I'll use 3 because that'll be fun. I use 3 colours for these beads. So I've got a bit of pink. Make them the same sort of length. Blue and pink. And, oh, we haven't got a yellow, have we?
No.
Oh, we used all the yellow. I'll use a bit of...
Unless we use that.
There's a tiny bit of yellow. That'll do because it's a nice contrast with the yellow. I think it's the last bit of yellow. So warm it up, roll it out. They don't have to be the same thickness. And this one's glittery. Oh wow, look at that. Don't know if it shows, but there's actually glitter in there. Some people love glitter, some people don't. I love it.
Yeah. I don't see why not. You shouldn't love it.
Because it's so sparkly. So then I
Yes.
join them all together like this. More or less, see? And then I start twisting. Look, Ruby. I start twisting.
Well, I've got to do one of those. Can I use that?
Yeah. So start twisting. You can make flowers like this where you actually make the middle in yellow, you know, that kind of thing. And then petals all around the edge. And then you would just slice, just like that. And you'd get loads of flower-shaped beads, but that's not what I'm doing. So I've twisted it. And then I'm going to twist it again. That looks nice how it is. It looks like a flump, a marshmallow flump. And then I'm going to roll it into a ball. Should we see how it looks?
Yeah.
Woo! But I'm not going to stop there. If you keep doing this, it'll end up a big grey, browny, yucky mess. But I'm just going to do a bit more. Can you see the colours are starting to merge?
I've got an idea.
Oh, look
for
at
mine.
that. Look at that.
I've already got a little plan that I can do.
One more twist, and then I'm going to start making beads.
So this is one part of mine. I'm going to make another. It's hard not to shake the table though.
Now I'm going to cut mine up. So you've got this lovely marbled effect there. So I'm just going to cut them evenly into roundies. Well, cylinder shapes first, aren't they?
Yeah.
Look at the inside. I don't know if that focus, but it looks really nice. You can make buttons like this too. So if you want to make a button, which I have done, I used to knit cardigans, I've made buttons. You just flatten them down like that, and then make the holes. I'll just focus from the other way around. Try and focus this way around. If you want to make buttons, you just flatten them down like that, and then use something to make the holes with all the way through. I'm going to make beads, and so I'm going to use this and roll it. It's a
Okay.
lovely effect.
I'm ready to show you mine.
Ooh, lovely, Ruby. That reminds me of a lolly.
Yes, I could put a lollipop stick on the end, couldn't I?
Yeah. Do you know, I wish I did my nails. Now I'm going to make the beads by rolling tiny circles, and now they're getting nice and soft, it's good, but when you want to put them on the pin, you leave the pin on it and put that in the oven too. But you might find you'll squash them into the funny shapes. Try and keep them round. It's hard to put the pin through basically. Where's my pin gone? I had a packet of those. There we go. Try and get a nice straight one.
You should see my lollipop in a moment when I've just finished putting the stick through it.
So if you just poke the hole from one side to the other and swivel it all the way to the end. But already it's gone into a kind of squishy shape, so you have to reshape it. There we go. There's one on. And try not to stick them together, otherwise they will possibly stick together in the oven. But I'm going to put the whole thing in the oven.
Okay, here we go. That's my lollipop. Now, the next thing.
So I've made 5 so far. And you can just make as many as you want. And then you can make yourself a bracelet. But I'm now going to make a few more buttons. Just for fun. Sometimes you can't get them off the board when you start squashing them on. So you need a sharp knife to very carefully prise them off. These ones are okay though. Because they kind of bend otherwise like this. You don't want them bent. And kind of wreck that one. So what can I use for the buttonholes? I'm going to use this, an earring back. I need to make them fairly big. I'll show you. So I'm making the buttonholes. You can see the glitter in there from the yellow. There's a yellow glittery one. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Look at that, 2 buttons.
2 buttons.
Doo-doo,
I made some licorice.
doo-doo. Let's have a look. Wow.
It's easy.
Good. There you are, 3 buttons and 5 beads. This is now Joel, and he is making, what are you making, Joel?
A burger.
What's in your burger?
Sauce, cheese, mustard, burger, and lettuce.
And how did you get the seeds on top?
I print them like this.
Oh, clever. On the dust. Because we found a crumbly one, didn't we? It's gone out of date, this old Fimo, so it's very hard to warm that up.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to do a burger?
Because of Jacob's Lego channel.
What's his YouTube channel called?
Well, my brother's Lego channel called Brick Burger.
Very good. Do you think you'll like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now they're all baked. I baked them for about 20 minutes in the oven at 180 degrees. Here's the food section. That was Ruby's little dolly. There's our pizza. Look how tiny it is. And this is Ruby's creations here. That's an elephant. And these are the earrings I was making, and a badge, and a little cute penguin. This is going to be a badge, and I'm going to glue gun the back onto it. These were the buttons that we made, and they do work because I have made them and actually attached them to a cardigan before now, but bigger than that they were. And these are some earrings that I've already made, and I've varnished them. I varnished those with nail varnish, and I didn't varnish these. And these are the earrings that I'm going to make by using these tweezers here to make the loops. I don't know if you've ever done jewellery making before. So you just basically bend them round here. See the spike? I cooked the spike. It goes all the way through, through my piggies. And then I covered the end so you couldn't see it on these. But this one I just left the end showing. And this is going to be a Christmas badge. You could add glitter, but now I'm just going to show you that you can buy proper polymer or Fimo varnish, but I'm just going to use clear nail varnish. I'm sure it's not quite as good, but I've always used it. So I'm not going to varnish everything. With the pizza, I just literally varnished the salami. These were the beads I made as well, so you can take them off their pin now. Off they come. They're a bit stuck together actually, so be careful. I think I've actually cooked them a bit too close. They will come apart, she says, but they were a bit stuck together. See, they're fine. But just be careful when you make them not to stick them too close together on the pin. So I'm going to varnish Piggy. This is a quick drying nail varnish. As you can see, I'm not very good at nail varnish. Well, I am, but I just leave it and it gets ruined and my nails are not very posh. But I am homeschooling 4 children at the moment. They're doing their quiet reading as I'm painting. They're all upstairs having their 40 minutes of quiet reading. I'm going to varnish these buttons because this is 2021 January. And I'm making this video and we're at the beginning of another lockdown, so I hope all the people homeschooling are getting on okay. It's not always this quiet in my house. I've just picked a good moment. So don't feel bad if your house is not this quiet when you're homeschooling. It's not that easy sometimes, is it? And there's my little Christmas tree, so now you know. Well, I don't know if I can do this on camera, but I'll just try. So I'm going to try and make the little hoops for my caterpillar earrings. I don't think they need to be as long as that, so I'm going to trim them. See, these are special tweezers you can trim. And then you just grab the end and if you look, they're rounded. I'm trying to focus. So you just make a little loop and basically keep going with that loop. I could really have made that a smaller loop, but it's okay, it'll work. My Fimo earrings so far. And I sometimes sell these at the school craft fairs. I always use the silverbacks, which you can buy off the internet or a craft shop, so that people's ears don't get sore. There we go. Thanks for watching our channel, and we hope we've inspired you to have a go at making some polymer modelling clay Fimo kind of creations. Let us know in the comments below if you have any tips for jewellery making or any other ideas for modelling clay like this. How do you get on when you had a go? Let us know in the comments. Please leave us a thumbs up because it always helps to have support for our channel, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video where we make something else.